Hello, and welcome to another episode of Fire Emblem Three Hopes, and we are now going to be doing some supports. Huzzah! And then we will do the main campaign. Let's have a look. Progress so far, done everything now. I've done a bit of grinding off screen. I have S-ranked every single stage so far, including the Scarlet Blaze ones. All difficulties, including Maddening. Nothing happened, but you know. Just informing you that that's happened now. But for now, need to do some progress. So let me just increase the game audio and then mute myself. Here we go.
Oh, you're awake. Don't worry, it's only been a few hours.
What happened? The last I remember, I was training some of our new recruits.
You got hit by some stray magic. Pretty hard, too.
Yes, that's right. How could I have let my guard fall so carelessly?
Probably the exhaustion. You usually sidestep stuff like that, no problem. Everybody was really worried about you, though. Dedue and Felix in particular didn't know what to do with themselves. Guess the silver lining is that it forced you to get some rest, if only for a few hours.
Apologies for causing such a disturbance. I'm fine now, I assure you.
Uh-huh, sure you are. I know you're just gonna get straight back to work if I leave you be. But hey, take a look around first.
The room is immaculate. Is this your handiwork?
Yep, though we left anything that seemed like it would need your input. Figured we could at least take care of the small stuff while you were out, though. Oh, and everyone, and I mean everyone, thinks you should be taking more breaks.
I'm certainly grateful for the gesture. But how did you find time for this amidst your other responsibilities?
It was easy once we split everything up. Felix, Dedue, and I wrapped up the training session in your stead. Then Rodrigue and Sylvain handled the rest of your paperwork. You might want to glance through it later, though. Ingrid tended to the horses, while Ash and Annette helped organize all your books. Oh, and Mercedes baked some wonderful treats for you. They'll have you back on your feet in no time. What else? What else? Oh, right, we sent some soldiers to check on the nearby villages, too.
Incredible. I never expected you to do this much.
I told you not to do everything yourself, but you still keep piling more and more stuff on anyway.
That's not true. I've relied on you and the others much more frequently of late. Besides which, this is what I want to do.
You've gotten better, sure, but I'm saying it's not enough. Don't you trust us?
This isn't a matter of trust. I deeply depend on every single person in this army.
Then why didn't you tell anyone else about how you went and buried all those villagers? Everyone was stunned when I mentioned it to them. I want to hear about that stuff from your mouth, not mine.
Yes, My apologies.
If you're really sorry, then you won't let it happen again. Anyway, go get some more rest. And don't try to say you're not tired just so you can keep working.
I see I can't fool you. Though in truth, I doubt I'll be able to doze off again so soon after enjoying my first dreamless sleep in ages.
In that case, come kill some time with me. I'm sure the training grounds will be free by now.
Yes, that sounds lovely. And, thank you.
You must rest, Your Majesty. These late hours will only undermine your health.
I appreciate your concern, but I fear sleep eludes me after our last battle. No need to wait for me to do, or to worry. I'll rest when I find a suitable stopping point.
You said the same the other day, then worked until the break of dawn.
I should know better than to argue when you get like this. Very well. I'll rest once I know these documents contain no errors. And if you assist me, it will go all the faster.
This is written in the language of Dusker. Is it a letter to the leadership?
Yes. I'd asked their cooperation in investigating a number of matters pertaining to the tragedy of Dusker. Some interim reports arrived the other day, so I'm thanking them for those and requesting a further investigation into another matter.
I see. Such important tasks warrant daylight. Can this not wait until morning?
And what if I fall in battle tomorrow and the work remains forever unfinished? I must do all that I can while I still draw breath. I will uncover the truth of that day, and exact revenge for the dead. There's no time to waste. After all, it doesn't appear resolving this issue will be as simple as just setting all the perpetrators to meet their end.
All the more reason to rest and preserve your health.
My rest and health can wait. At least until I've looked through these inquiries into the Western Front. And I should put in some training before I sleep, to make up for all this desk work.
Do you still have nightmares of that day?
You remember then? I'm surprised. I've not mentioned them in years. I used to summon you to my room under the pretense of keeping you safe from the others in the castle. And then I'd have you listen to me babble until sleep finally claimed me.
I've always been grateful for the consideration you showed.
It was my own selfishness, nothing praiseworthy.
Well, if sleep still evades you, I would be happy to lend an ear.
That would only succeed in exhausting us both. We have an early start tomorrow, so please, get some rest. I know you will once again implore me not to overextend myself. But I assure you that I know my own limits better than anyone.
At least let me bring tea before I depart.
That would be wonderful to do. And apologies for always putting you through so much trouble.
How long are you going to keep staring blankly like an idiot? You should eat.
You're right. My apologies.
Let me guess, you're in a tizzy about how best to make use of the Church's forces. Or maybe you're just worried about how our forces will survive the winter. Well, knock it off. A good leader knows when to let their vassals do the worrying for them.
Is that why you left your uncle in charge of House Fraldarius?
Yes. Though I've been returning to the territory the moment any issues arise with his governance.
And your mother? Is she in good health? I imagine it's difficult to manage all the family squabbles on her own.
Oh, she's fine. She's good at that sort of thing. I actually think she likes it. I suggest you focus on your own issues for once, instead of worrying about everyone else.
I'm not sure that's possible. Oh, but that does remind me. I hear the Knights wanted to hold a joint training session.
Forget it. You'll never change. I'd tell you to stop brooding so much, but I'd be wasting my breath.
I cannot afford to lose this war, Felix. I must protect the kingdom. I must avenge the fallen. Each day, we draw ever closer to those who pulled the actual strings. I've already punished any who knew of the plan and did nothing, as well as a number of middle-rank conspirators. But it isn't enough. There are still those who must answer for this crime with their lives.
You are a book with one chapter and no ending. What will you do when you actually have this revenge of yours?
I don't know. But if I can quell their grief and their hate, it will be enough. Do you hate me, Felix? After all, I saw Glenn die. I watched it and could do nothing. His end lies on my shoulders.
That's enough. I don't hate you, okay? You weren't responsible for any of that. They didn't die for your sake. They made their own choices of their own free will. Don't be so conceited.
But surely they didn't want to die. Yet they did so to protect me. Me. I am undeserving of such sacrifice.
I told you to quit brooding and eat. Your food's going to rot if you wait any longer.
Yes, of course. Ah, Sylvain. I was hoping to ask your opinion on our recent meeting.
Hey, I'm always happy to talk. But if you want House Gautier's take, shouldn't you ask my father?
I don't want House Gautier's opinion. I want yours.
Okay, well, we were talking about the pros and cons of incorporating commoners in the nobility, right? Seems to me like we got it all sorted out.
Yes. The discussion primarily revolved around a single point. Whether those without crests are actually worthy of entering the nobility.
I mean, if they're up to the challenge, I don't see why not. It's like how you promoted my brother, right? Skill is what matters in the end.
Indeed. And the performances of Ash and the Commander serve as proof of such.
Just don't get carried away, you know? Too much of a good thing and all that. I'm sure you realize what happened to the kingdom if we lost the power of crests.
Naturally. However, crest bloodlines are currently fading everywhere. People such as Felix who were born with major crests are the exception in this day and age.
Which means Fargus has two options if we want to retain our power. One, we bolster our military and promote prosperity while delicately letting the bloodline dance play out. Or two, we admit bloodlines won't last forever and create a social system that doesn't rely on inheritance. Neither one would hold up for long, but if I had to choose, I guess the first option would be the better one for the kingdom on the whole.
Bolstering our military is more easily said than done. Impoverished as our land is, it will be difficult to compete with regions of more fertile ground.
Hey, do you remember what I said when you talked to me about promoting my brother? I told you it was important to keep up appearances while we were in the middle of a war. And honestly, I don't have any real objection to the way you're running things now.
Thank you, Sylvain. I knew you would help me sort things out in my head.
I don't usually get into serious stuff like this, but I'm glad I could help.
Such topics are not beyond your grasp, though. Your complete sincerity is a great strength. That said, you never show that side of you to any but Felix and myself. Although, I must admit, you were far from sincere during our academy days.
Don't remind me. Just thinking about it makes me cringe.
If you see the error of your ways, it is not too late to mend them. Or perhaps you require one of my lectures like old times?
Pass. You know I've got them all memorized anyway.
I do hope you realize how much I rely on you, Sylvain. You have so many things I lack. You're clever and quick-witted like your father, yet
Yeah, well, I've been jealous of your strength ever since we were kids.
none of us are perfect. So let us dwell no longer on our failings. I apologize for taking up so much of your time, though I hope to have similar discussions in the future.
I'm looking forward to it. Glad I can always speak my mind around you.
Is it much further, Mercedes? We'll likely need to rest soon.
We're just about there. See? It's right over that hill.
I had no idea there was a village here.
Actually, I used to live in this village once upon a time. You can see the church where I stayed in the distance.
It is a place of stunning beauty and quiet. It almost feels like coming home somehow.
Oh, Mercedes! It's been so long! Come to visit your mother, have you?
It has been a while, hasn't it? And no, I'm mostly here to show my friend around.
My, what a handsome young man! Are you with the Knights of Saros?
What? Oh, no. I'm the kingdom's... I'm a member of their army.
You don't say. Guess that means you work closely with our Mercedes here. Well, if you've got the time, go pop into the church. I'm sure the priest and little ones will be delighted to see you.
Absolutely. Also, I do want to say hello to Mother, since we've come all this way.
I always find it nerve-wracking to meet friends of friends.
Oh, she's harmless. She works over at the church. My mother and I owe her a lot. There are many people there who share similar circumstances to our own. Too many, I'm afraid. Still, the priest accepts anyone and everyone who comes to him for aid.
Such open-mindedness is rare in these times. I wonder if it's because of the church's teachings.
You know, this village would look very different had you not accepted the central church.
Well, I've heard the most unpleasant rumors about the southern church, and I don't know how to govern all these villages myself.
I realize you know far more than me when it comes to things like politics and war, but I still thought it was important for you to see what you're protecting with your own eyes.
Which is why you insisted I accompany you. To be honest, I have no idea how the war will change Fodlan, but I will do everything in my power to protect this place, and all others like it.
Thank you, Dimitri. Let's head on over to the church. There are some wonderful views on the way there. There are fields of flowers, beautiful brooks. Goodness, so many things I want to show you. Oh, and I need to say hello to my mother and the priest while we're at the church.
I suppose I should give them my regards as well. Considering I hold your life in my hands as your commanding officer.
My, you're so nervous. Perhaps you should let me handle the introductions. I'll just tell them you're someone very important to me.
Wait, Mercedes. That may lead to some untoward conclusions.
Sorry, it was just a joke, I promise. I didn't mean to fluster you. Still, I much prefer this Dimitri to the scowly one I always seem to see.
You are a master of catching me off balance, Mercedes.
Your Majesty, about tomorrow's drills. Apologies, I did not mean to interrupt.
It's fine, Ingrid. We had just finished.
That was the leader of the Dusker forces, yes? What were you talking about?
We were discussing various tactics and formations. We must be aligned if we're to fight together. The way Dusker soldiers operate is quite different from our knights. I must also be mindful of how I deploy them to avoid undue conflict.
Yes, I hear there have already been a number of small quarrels in the encampment.
It's not a problem easily solved. I'm sure each side finds it difficult to adjust to the other. And you, Ingrid. Do you still hate the people of Dusker?
I no longer have reason to hold on to that hate. Yes, a few of them were involved in the tragedy, but I cannot blame the rest for that. There were many other forces at work. I understand that now. Yet I used to focus all my negative feelings on the people of Dusker, and for that I am ashamed. In a way, I now find myself scared of interacting with them at all.
You needn't blame yourself. The fault lies with me for not speaking to you about it more 6 years ago. I hesitated because I didn't wish to confuse the matter, not knowing the full truth of it. But you were forced to grapple with many painful feelings as a result. Clearly, my priorities were not in order.
You had enough to deal with 6 years ago. So many knights were expelled from the castle, and almost none but Lord Rodrigue would set foot in the capital. Even my father prevented me from going to see you.
Yet, I still could have sought you out. And I had countless chances to discuss the matter at the academy.
I do not think I would have taken it well even if you had. I was convinced that Glenn died saving you from irredeemable villains. I forced myself to believe that. If I hadn't, I fear I may have gone mad.
I was in a similar position. But once I finally opened the lid on that box, I realized just how many were involved, including members of our own kingdom. In the end, I knew I had to reconcile with reality.
And I must also accept the reality that stands before me now. We are allied with the people of Dusker, which means I can no longer avoid them.
I have an idea. It may not help, but I'd like to take you somewhere. The father of that man I was speaking with earlier opened an inn last year, and it's not far. Would you care to join me there for a meal? Word has it he's quite skilled at making all manner of food. Of course, if this is all too much and too soon, I understand.
Not at all. I would love to accompany you. Though it shames me to admit it, I likely lack the courage to go alone. But with you at my side, I think I can take that first step.
In that case, let us make haste. Oh, and this will be my treat, so keep your pocketbook shut tight.
No one here? Good. Now quietly, sneakily...
Bernadetta?
Back to the beyond from whence you came! I haven't done anything wrong, I promise! I was just really hungry!
Bernadetta, wait! There are a bunch of crates over...
Ow! Oh, no! Ah!
Well, it took a while, but we finally managed to clean everything up.
Sorry about that. Oh, again. Why does this kind of thing always happen to me? First I run into you, and then the crates are stacked in a completely different place. It's all just the worst.
I wasn't expecting to find anyone up at this hour, so I apologize for scaring you.
Wait, no, I didn't mean you're the worst. I mean, I didn't actually want to see you, but... Wait, that sounds bad. I just...
Think nothing of it. You were raised in the Empire, so it's only natural you'd be afraid of me. But, if I may, why were you in the mess hall so late?
Wait, are you interrogating me? Am I going to be royally executed? No!
Don't be ridiculous. Why would I have a valuable ally executed?
Wait, you mean it? You better mean it! I won't let you live it down if you're lying!
I would not lie about something like that. In fact, I swear upon the goddess... No, on my father's name.
Okay, I guess I can tell you then. I missed dinner because I shut myself inside my tent. But then I was so hungry, I couldn't sleep, so I decided to come out here.
I see. And then?
I wasn't trying to steal food, I promise! I just thought there might be leftovers, or maybe an apple that rolled under someone's chair.
Please calm down, Bernadetta. I'm not judging you for what you eat or when.
You're going to eat me? No! I taste terrible!
Oh, she is utterly exhausting. Now then, I'd like to hear opinions on the proposed tactics. Personally, I believe it best to gather our forces and attack the stronghold directly, but...
Of course the boar wants to rush in headlong. Using a small force to take out the enemy's base of operations is a far better idea. Do you have something to say? Or are you just going to stand there glaring at me?
I have nothing to add, no.
So you're saying you have no thoughts on it whatsoever? You don't even agree or disagree? Just purely, blissfully neutral?
Enough, Felix. Leave Dedu be and tell me more about this idea of yours.
We don't need to kick down the front door here. Sneaking in with a small force and burning their food stores will be more than enough.
Interesting. We'd miss a chance to loot their supplies. But it would free up our main force for other matters. Still, it won't be easy to slip past their patrols. I'd best take my personal troops and...
Allow me to take on the role. I trust that'll be satisfactory.
Right then. Now that we've solidified our strategy, let's break for a bit.
Okay, what is your problem? You've been giving me that look ever since we came in here. You clearly have something on your mind, so spit it out.
It's good to have you with us.
Huh?
Few can debate His Majesty without hesitation or ill intent. Our war council proceeded smoothly as a result.
You make me sound like some kind of troublemaker. I don't disagree just for the thrill of it, you know.
You don't say.
Dimitri's always had a reckless streak. Who knows what kind of mess he'd drag us into if someone wasn't around to stop him. The guy would gladly throw his life away for someone else given half the chance.
You have a point.
His death would mean the destruction of both Fargus and the Church. So when I try to protect him, what I'm really doing is protecting the kingdom.
Spoken like the shield of Fargus.
What's with a smile? I told you, if you've got something to say, just say it.
I know you spoke up for my sake as well. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, well, just doing what's expected. I mean, we're, you know, brothers in arms and all that.
Apologies for the wait. I trust we're ready to reconvene? You two seem to be having a lively discussion. May I ask what it was about?
Of course, Your Majesty. Felix was just saying...
I was saying how much of a fool you are. And now come. We have more important things to discuss.
And that's all we got so far. Next part will be the main story. Till next time.